Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what I believe to be the biggest mistake that sports card investors are making right now. I kind of listed out a handful of them, but I'm really going to be diving into one specifically. So once again, before we get into that, I do want to say, if you guys do enjoy this kind of one-on-one conversation type style videos, definitely drop a like. Let me know to do more of these because, of course, in the past I've done a lot of videos just scrolling eBay and kind of doing commentary. But if you do like to see my face, drop a like. But without further ado, we're gonna hop right into this video. So the single-handedly biggest mistake that I'm seeing people make is not selling off their cards. And what I mean by that specifically is, if you're into a card at $600 and it's currently down to $400, I'm seeing a lot of investors still trying to squeeze out their $600 and not willing to sell unless they can at least break even. And I think this is a fundamental, horrible problem in the sports card world and in general in people's mentalities. And essentially, once you have bought the card for $600 and the card is now worth $400, the $600 doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have a $400 card right now, and your goal should be to make the most out of that $400. Because if you're holding on to a card, say of a player who you do not believe in anymore, and that card could only go down, in your opinion, and you're not taking that $400 and trying to get it into another card that you see more potential in, I think that's a big mistake. And a lot of people, of course, look at it as I paid $600. I'm trying to make a good decision on this investment, and trying to at least break even on my investment. I don't want to take the loss. I don't want to take the hit. It's kind of, a lot of people look at it that way. And I've been lucky to kind of understand that, I've taken a lot of losses on certain cards, right? But I'm willing to take that loss and maybe put that money into a card that I believe in even more. And maybe in a lot of cases, I've made that money back plus more in a card that I believe in, rather than holding it in a card that I don't believe in because I paid too much for it. Because frankly, it's, a lost cause. If you have paid too much for a card, you have paid too much for a card. But if the current value is $400, well, you have a $400 card and you should make the most out of that. And there's a lot of other opportunities that I believe are out there in the sports card market. And what I will say is, during this economic downturn, during a time where every single, crypto, stocks, sports cards, they're all taking a big hit. During this time, if you're buying into the dip, the last thing you want to happen is that the whole market comes back, but the card that you bought didn't bounce back. And what I mean by that is essentially, I personally have a great feeling that when the sports card market bounces back, that LeBron, Kobe, Michael Jordan, all these top guys, are going to see great growth no matter what. However, if I'm buying up LaMelo Ball cards, which I consider a lot more risky actually, if I'm buying up LaMelo Ball cards and the whole market comes back 60%, prices are up 60%. However, LaMelo Ball injured himself, and his cards are actually down. That's the last thing you want to happen if you're taking the risk during an economic downturn to buy the dip. You want to make sure that you're seeing the growth when the market comes back. And the safest players to do that in are the GOATs, in my opinion, and the vintage players and the guys who can't get injured, who can't, just have a horrible season and demolish their career. And so I look at a lot of guys like Kevin Durant, like Steph Curry, like LeBron James, who have already done so much in their careers, to where their price is already justified, right? They could retire tomorrow and still be all-time greats. However, they have so much more upside because they're still playing and they're still competing for championships, and they're still putting up MVP seasons. So I look at guys like Steph Curry. I was a big investor in him 2 years ago to 1 year ago. You can look back at a lot of videos. I was pounding on buying up Steph Curry. And the simple fact is, he's already a top, whatever you want to debate, but top 10, top 15 player of all time. So if you're buying up a player like that, you're always going to hold long-term value. You're always going to hold, he has such a big fan base, right? I look at that as well. When looking at guys like Kobe's cards, how they've been able to hold up. And I'm not talking his 1996 Topps, which has a population of God knows how much, right, in tens of thousands. But I'm talking about, reasonable pop cards, right? If you have a Kobe card with a pop of 30, a lot of them have held up a lot better than other investments because he has such a big collector's base. And so when looking at cards, like I personally believe that sports cards still have so much room for growth internationally, right? I think in Europe, sports cards are going to, kind of, if we look at sneakers, right, when they kind of took off in the US, we saw China start to become huge on sneakers. Europe, it kind of bled worldwide, and a lot of United States, just trends in general have really had great influence worldwide. And I believe, in China, sports cards are going to be very big. I believe in Europe, sports cards are going to be big. And so I'm buying up a lot of European greats. I'm buying up, of course, Luka Doncic, but more so like Dirk Nowitzki, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. In China's side, I'm buying up Yao Ming, players like that. And I definitely believe that that's kind of an untouched, market, I would say. Definitely because the U.S. is the main kind of place where sports cards are right now. And I definitely believe that's going to change. There's a lot of different firms out there who are going internationally and raising money to start up bigger sports card, places to buy and sell, marketplaces internationally. And I think that's going to be a big play over the next 5-10 years. So I definitely think looking at, those opportunities and trying to find ways to invest and still make your money. And of course, if you're invested in a card and it's down, and you could either hold on to that LaMelo Ball card or you can move it into something where you see a lot bigger growth. Take that bigger growth option. Take that card that you believe in, because you, instead of looking at it as I'm taking a $200 loss, you could say, well, I'm just trading this into another card that I believe is going to be 600 plus very soon. And so it's more of a trade as if taking a loss. So I definitely think if you are out there and you're struggling to take a loss, like look at it from that perspective. Just like, if I could buy up this different card for $400 that could go up to $1,000, why am I holding this $400 card that could keep going down because I don't want to take a loss? So I definitely think that's like one of the biggest mistakes investors are making. And then, a second mistake that I see is just simply, panic selling. I think during economic downturns, there's a lot of people who panic sell and, during the crash and get a lot, lower numbers than they thought they would get for a card, and often take too big of a hit because they're panic selling. And I would just say in that case, it's all about finding the right buyers. I understand the market is down, but there's still buyers out there who are paying strong. And you can definitely find that. So I see a lot of people just dumping and taking the first offer they see, like kind of the opposite of how it should be, right? When prices are so hot, you should be skeptical. I was personally skeptical when prices were doubling every month, right? In the sports card hobby in like April 2020, in February of 2021, prices were jumping very fast, and a lot of people were very hyped and investing so much and paying $75,000 for LeBron James, or paying like $50,000 for LeBron James Topps Chrome PSA 10s because their friend told them to and stuff like that. So I definitely think, when prices are low, you have less room for downside. You have more room for upside. When prices are high, you have more room for downside and less room for upside. So we're in a time right now where I don't understand if somebody's willing to pay $50,000 in the peak of things when Topps Chrome PSA 10s of LeBron James are $50,000. Why aren't you buying those up when they're $7,000, right? Why aren't you buying those up when they're $8,000? I definitely think there's just a lot more room for growth. Fanatics is, of course, coming in if you guys are not aware. And I think when Fanatics does start their marketing campaigns, we're going to see sports cards in a lot of places you did not think you would see them. And I'm talking giving players stakes in their cards, giving teams benefits to push sports cards. I'm talking real big things for the hobby. And I just think if you're willing to stomach the risk right now, there's a really, really good chance that you're going to be licking your fingers down the line and saying, wow, that was, a great bet. And I'm kind of thinking that to myself, like down the line, I'm going to look back and wish I'd bought more. And this is, of course, my opinion. I'm not, trying to, sway anybody, but I would definitely say, like, I firmly believe in the sports card market long-term in Fanatics' hands. They have pretty much every single sports fan under the sun as a customer right now. They've signed all these different, organizations, franchises. And it's just a matter of time before the marketing kicks off. Of course, Michael Rubin, the CEO of Fanatics, the founder of Fanatics, in fact, he sold off 10% of his stake he sold off his stake in the Philadelphia 76ers franchise because it was a conflict with sports card business. And so I definitely think we're going to see some really great growth in the market. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of stomaching the risk right now. And you will see the greatest opportunities when you buy at the lowest, of course. So I definitely think whether now is the lowest or in 3 months we hit the rock bottom, nobody has the crystal ball. And I'm not saying go out there and spend all your money. I'm getting a lot of comments on my videos like, buy food first and stuff. Like, I definitely get it. If necessities come way before sports cards. But if you have saved up some money and you have some extra room to go with and invest your money, I would definitely say now is probably the golden opportunity, in my opinion, whether it's today or in 3 months. But this whole dip, I think, is going to be the golden opportunity in terms of making money. So, if you have that patience, I definitely recommend it. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you do enjoy these kind of chats, definitely drop a like, but I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Subscribe if you're new, and other than that, I'm out. Peace.